Hey LZ, can you hear me okay? I can't check my audio. I'm having some issues with my playlist. Just curious. It's gonna check my audio, but I can't. It won't do that. I have no idea. You can hear me? Okay. Thank you, because I cannot check it. I don't know why there's issues with my playlist, but I will try to correct that after this. So I got a channeling for something and I was debating on whether to share it, but I'm trying to be more unrestricted and to give you guys what I get because you might be able to find usefulness in it. So I'm just going to go ahead and say it. It's going to be short. It's not like a super long thing here. But it's all this emphasis on our heart space and leading with our heart has really got me like thinking about everything. And you know that I always say the heart is the key to see. And it's important because how you feel in your heart is literally kicking off an electromagnetic energy, right? And the heart is creation as well, it's creative energy. And so, thus, whatever's in our heart electromagnetically kicking off that frequency is what we create. Now, I had spoke a little bit about how there was something within my heart that I was unaware of, and I had recently discovered it. So it's possible to have something there that could be influencing movement, influencing what you do, and sort of creating a reality, your projected reality from a place where you were unaware that things were happening there. Um, the heart and love is the most powerful frequency that God ever gave us. Love, compassion, acceptance. It's the place of light within us. It's the key to see the connection to God. So it's a place of luminous light, the place of inspiration. And your heart's electromagnetic field affects other people. It affects other people's electromagnetic fields. Okay. For some, it could be to the vibration of love. um, when you see somebody that's really in love and um, one of two things happen. Either one, people get annoyed, or two, people are like, "Oh," like if it's an older couple, you're like, "I want to love like that." It speaks to people. It's powerful. The heart's electromagnetic field is a lot bigger than even the brains, right? But it can inspire, affect other people, other electromagnetic fields, to bring them into the vibration of love. So you've heard me talk about the Tachyon Mind. I've spoke about it before. Um, your heart kicks off angles of light and tachyon particles, and it's according to that person's energy level where they're at, on how those are manifested and how that affects other people, um, how it's emitted. But the brain has the capacity to receive. There's receivers within the white matter of the brain to interpret these tachyon particles and angles of light, right? So it can actually change somebody's mind. So I don't know if you've heard the saying, change your heart and you change your mind. That's what they're meaning when they say that. So you're emitting that light into the world. Now, for some people, it's their way of expressing God, right? Because God is the connection in the heart. So one part of the Tachyon Mind stuff that I didn't really go into because I kind of halted on it, I felt like it was the wrong timing, was the discussion on, you know, heart and mind cohesion and how you have to start with the heart and why that's important, because the mind is definitely supposed to follow the heart, and I know that sounds completely backwards to what you would think it would be. That's why a lot of people will focus on healing and shadow work and all of these things, is to kind of get the heart in the right place, to sort of baptize the heart, by fire, get all the stuff out of there, so that when it emits the light or the angles of light or the tachyon particles, the mind can be influenced or led in a way that is of the light and illumination, right? So these tachyon particles are themselves sort of like a Pegasus energy. They hold the key to open the gate. Okay, the gate of what? Mercy, illumination, for whom they pass through, right? So if a person's in their heart space and they're fully walking in their heart, the tachyon particles and the light angles that they kick off is going to flow through other people with them not knowing it, and it influences, again, like how they behave, their mood. You know what I'm saying? Like, these things are sort of an unconscious thing that happens. It can put someone in a higher vibration. So I wanted to talk a little bit. Now, this might not be for all of you, and you do not have to stay if you do not like this kind sort of thing. I'm just being more open with channeling and offering you what I am getting hit wise, so that you can use it if you need it, or leave it if you don't. Um, so in Revelations chapter 6, verse 7, and I looked, and behold, a pale horse, and his name that sat on him was Death, and hell followed him. The power was given to him over the fourth gate, or the fourth part of earth. Okay. The devil attempts to corrupt love in the heart, because it's, like I said, it is the absolute strongest frequency gift that God ever gave us, and it's our connection to God. It's the most powerful frequency. But the devil will magnetically pull oppositional energy, right? Which is the opposite of love, is anti-love or hate. Okay, it puts you in situations where you have a misconnect of love trying to block your heart, or make you not trust your heart, or not let your heart lead, right? So maybe a relationship where there was a hunger for that love, or an ending of that love, or there was conditional love, creates a disconnect between the heart and the mind. The mind tries to run the show when the heart is what's supposed to lead. And the heart needs to lead the mind, not by telling it what to do, but by feeling, right? Like by that energetic influence, by those angles of light, by the tachyon particles, it inspires the mind to change. This is how the light influences the brain. It's unconscious of its influence, of its being influenced, you know? The heart has that light energy and can feel. You know, there is some dark invisible energy and dark matter. Again, dark matter can be a situation where you have a wounding that you was unaware of, right? And then that dark energy will disperse it out. It'll push it out. So it's sort of the anti-gravity. It's hard to get to it and remove it if you can't see it, right? So when you're talking about the heart, you're talking about creation, love, life, and it's sort of this armor of God that's coming out of your heart and protecting you, right? It's leading you. It's leading the way. And that the opposition, when you're talking about the mind being influenced, this is why, because the opposition of this energy is destruction, hate, it's death, right? And the mind has to be it has to be affixed with the crown of God, you know, God mind. And the only way that you can get that is by leading through your heart, right? So the heart pushes off these tachyon particles and these angles of light, which is Pegasus. You know, it's freedom. It's the angles of light from the heart, basically guides the path. So the heart is the key to see. And all this emphasis on leading with the heart, I feel like I need to talk about this because it's important. Revelation chapter 19, verse 11. I saw heaven open. Behold, a white horse. There's your Pegasus. Heaven is your heart. It's love. Heaven is love. And it's when it's talking about I saw heaven open, behold a white horse, it's talking about you emitting these tachyon particles and angles of light from your heart or from heaven, right? And it says, chapter 6, verse 2, he that sat on him had a bow and crown. It's talking about the crown of God, right? God mind. And I'm not talking like an egotistical God mind. I'm talking like you're being led by love through life, and there's compassion and charity and care for other people. Okay? Not that you are this supreme person or whatever. That's not what I mean when I say that at all. The crown of gold or the crown of God. The mind can only have the crown of God or Christ consciousness when you open heaven or open the heart. It has to be led by the heart, and this releases the Pegasus or these tachyon particles or this light within you, these angles of light, right? And it influences the mind, right? The receivers in the mind or in the brain and the white matter, they respond to the light of the heart, the tachyon particles. Okay. What is it doing? It's influencing the hippocampus. Okay, so the memory, it's reminding you who you are, where you came from, and it's also releasing you or liberating you or freeing you from memories that are no longer serving you. Okay. Daniel chapter 12, and I seen denial instead of Daniel whenever I was looking at this and I was getting the hit for this. It says, you Daniel, shut up the word, seal up the book. Okay, but I seen you denial or denial, shut up the word, seal up the book is what I heard. So a lot of people aren't getting the messages, right? Because they're in denial, or there is this corruption that's trying to shut down the knowledge, because knowledge increases Yeshua's return on the white horse. And what does that mean? Well, the more you know about this, the more it increases the resurrection of Christ within you in your heart, right? So it's about freedom. So Revelations chapter 19, verse 14, and the armies that were in heaven followed him on the white horse. So all of the armies of heaven come through your heart in these tachyon particles and these angles of light in this light. All right. It creates new thought from light, right? Freedom of thought. Okay. So the hippocampus can be a simulation here, right? If you're living from a memory or you don't remember something accurately, the hippocampus can leave parts out. So it's important. I got the number 9, and it's mind and consciousness. And then I heard rage of the mind. Pegasus calms rage of the mind. So opening heaven in your heart, it counteracts the corruption of the mind, or it counteracts the rage of the mind. And it's actually the key to the new mind or freedom. Okay? Freedom of the memory. So then I heard, look at Luke. So Luke chapter 22, verse 10. When you enter into the city, there I shall meet you, bearing a pitcher of water. Follow him into the house where he enters. So, Aquarius season's coming. And what this is saying is, wherever your placement is in Aquarius in that house, that's where you're going to follow. Okay? You're going to follow that because, and it's actually you're following Yeshua into that house for the Pegasus for freedom. Okay? Now, for some of you, it'd be like when the moon or the subconscious enters into the house of Aquarius. That is the new formation of the new heaven or the age of Aquarius, right? It's already upon us, but I'm just saying, like, each time it becomes a new opportunity. But heaven is the heart, okay? And it's important because, God gives you the order if it's coming from the crown of God or the God mind. God gives the order. So it's important for you to lean into this, because some of you, I feel like if you're meant to get this message, you will, but some of you was that Daniel chapter 12, verse 4. Shut up the word, seal up the book. And so there was a part of another channeling that I got that went with this. And it specifically pointed out specific ways that Aries energy is influencing, okay, or Mars. So some people fight with words because they fight with their words, and they fight with their thoughts because they have corruption within their mind. And this is how I got it. You're just going to have to go with it. You can ignore it. You don't have to listen to it. I know this is really out there, but I want to offer it to you guys. I'm being more open with my channeling. So Aries defends the grid of the mind. So Aries is the master control of the mind. And the program is the outside self. Again, where there is war or fighting, there you find peace and love. So Aries is the soldier, and it needs an order. The order has to come from morality, because if you don't lead, a corrupt leader or the devil will give the order. And the action has to be led by morality, truth, and purpose. So the order is defend the grid, or defend the mind from the corruption of the devil. Maintain morality and truth. See the beauty in partnership. Hi, Nicole. Hi, Pisces. See the beauty in partnership. So the truth, right? For those of you that resonate for this part, for understanding and agreement on a common truth. And we do not blindly follow the program or the order if it's not purposeful, moral, or true. Okay? You're supposed to use the mind in your communication to help other people and not to keep it for yourself to win. Okay? Authentic identity equals authentic partnerships, and it blocks the corrupt mind and corrupt information. The purpose, like I said, is to help others. And articulation and the mind creates unification instead of severing. So this is about a free mind, freedom of the mind with the truth and not conforming to the lie. So some of you are dealing with people who fight with creativity, or they fight with romantic situations. Maybe they have a corrupt heart. Right, so Aries is defending the grid, and the grid is the heart. Aries is the master control of the heart. So the heart is actually what is projected to the outside self or the program. Where there is war or fight, you also find love and purpose. So remember, Aries is the soldier, and the soldier needs an order. It has to come from morality. And if you do not lead a corrupt leader from the heart, right, the heart will be corrupted by the devil. Okay, that's where you'll get your order if you don't defend the grid, the heart. So you have to maintain morality and truth, and you have to see the beauty in connection, right? Change your heart, you change your mind, or you change in your heart, it changes your mind, your consciousness, your reality, what you're creating. For illumination, so you're partnering in your heart with God, right? And that creates a true heart, right? That then gives you the crown of God. We don't blindly follow a program. If the heart is not true, there is no purpose. That's problematic, because you're supposed to use your heart to help others and not keep it for yourself to win. Okay, so authentic identity, authentic partnerships, it blocks corruption within the heart. It blocks hate. And the purpose is to help others. So freedom of love, freedom of the heart, and of course the opening of heaven within your heart. It's the neutralization to hate. You'll have some that fight the truth or fight with the truth because of the corruption or the lie. Aries defends the grid. That grid is the expansion of the mind and truth. Okay. They're walking in truth in that outside sense of self or expanded mind. Remember, where there's war or fight, you'll find love and peace. Aries is the soldier and needs the order. It has to come from morality. You don't lead with truth and an expanded mind. Hold on, he's closing the garage. So loud. If you don't lead with morality or with God in the mind, then you get an order from a corrupt leader, which is the devil, or whatever you call that energy, right? So see the beauty in partnership with God in your mind, Christ consciousness, for expansion of truth, common truth. We don't blindly follow if there is a lack of morality. So you're to help others with your expanded mind, higher perspective, with God's perspective and wisdom. expanded benevolence. So freedom of the mind versus a contracted mind. And then some will fight with rebellious energy because they are fighting against corrupt leader. Okay. Aries defends the grid, and the grid is the future and the freedom of that future. So they're fighting against enslavement. So the future would be the projected sim of the outside self. Sorry about that. Remember, where there is a war or fight, there you will also find love and peace. So again, Aries is a soldier and needs an order. If you do not lead from morality, a corrupt leader will give the order, and that's the devil. So the action has to be led by morality, truth, and freedom. So they're looking for freedom here for the future. The opposite of freedom is enslaved, and that's what they're trying to fight against, right? Some can have blind rebellion with no cause. That's a whole nother story, and that's taking the order from that corrupt leader. But it blocks the corrupt future or the enslavement, and it equals freedom instead, right? The purpose is to help others by revolutionary vision and innovation. Okay, rejecting the old structures that were not set up appropriately. They were set up by corrupt leadership. And while that person may not be corrupt, their structure is coming from a place of a corrupt leader, right? Because their heart ain't in the right place. Okay, so belonging and a common cause of freedom. So your purpose is to help others to be free in the future. So future freedom, all right? Rejecting the old structures and having a sense of belonging and freedom in your future. So I don't know if you got anything from that, but that's what I got. Some tarot card, and then judgment. So having that decision to really lead from a place of that light, the sun here in 7th, partnering with the light, with God, so that you don't have a corrupt contraction or a corrupt leader come in, or an infiltration by the shadow or the darkness or whatever you call it, right? Like really allowing God to flow through you, through whatever that energy is coming through. But the heart is definitely an important place to start when you're trying to utilize a Tachyon mind. The heart is where those tachyon particles are coming out, the angles of light. So, in that Tachyon Mind series, the heart is the place to start. That's like where you got to start at. And yeah, definitely like the place to start. And this is why. So hopefully you guys like this channeling. Let me know what you think. I'm trying to be more open and share my channelings. I was a little uncomfortable doing this. I almost didn't do it. So let me know what you think. I love you guys. And until I see you again, Transcend. Peace.